Sayın Dekanım ve değerli konuklar, şimdi konuşmalarını yapmak üzere Güney Kore, Kore Ulusal Açık Üniversitesi'nden Profesör Doktor Taerimli'yi kürsüye davet ediyorum.
Tonight, everyone. Did you enjoy the lunch? So I'm very happy to give a talk in front of the delegator of the 2019 IODL, delegator there. So I really appreciate the Anadolu University hospitality from me. So my name is Taerim from Korea National Open University. So today's my topic is deep learning analytics to facilitate sustainability of open and distance learning. The projector not yet. Why not? Huh? Oh, yes. So today's my outline of my presentation is first motivation and background, and why the learning analytics in education, and the deep learning analytics in open and distance learning. Actually, I'm a biostatistician, so I'm focusing on the learning analytics modeling method there. And finally, remarks. The motivation for me, the first one is a variety of educational demand. Second motivation is a change of educational paradigm in open and distance learning. And third is enlargement of educational space. And also we have to explore the various levels in a teaching learning system. So UNESCO announced that the 2030 education vision, so trend in higher education. Now we live in knowledge-based society, and we need the ICT adaptation in higher education and also open and distance learning. And I love the knowledge sharing. It is a just era of the knowledge sharing period, So the current global trend in higher education is massification of like a MOOC and diversification of the higher education and change of paradigm and employability and quality assurance and globalization and academic mobility and internationalization. That is the trend nowadays in higher education. So it's just era of the ICT, I think. So we work together with the computer, and at home, the shopping with the computer, and the play together with the computer, and the sleep together with the computer during sleep in the dream, So for me, from 1986, I started my computer-aided instruction. It was my first project with 8-bit Apple computer. It's a 25-inch diskette among you. 5-inch diskette, big one, 20 diskette for one chapter. I developed the 8-bit Apple computer because I need the theta and delta, the special character, only covered by this Apple computer, 8-bit Apple computer. And after that, 2 3-inch diskette covered 20 chapters. It was my project starting. And after that, we call the e-learning, So e-learning is whenever, wherever, everyone with fun. So we called it edutainment, education, entertainment. So we produce the e-learning contents with that kinds of concept, edutainment. So in my e-learning contents for teaching statistics is a video lecture and dynamic flash and story of statistics corner and ebook and online test for self-evaluation and also S-Link statistical package and also computer-aided teaching statistics and a Java practice from the Üniversitesi in Germany. We have exchanged each other, the module there. So all components included in my e-learning contents of introductory statistics. It was installed in the UNCAP e-library. UNCF is a UN institute located in Chiba, Japan, the training official statistician of the Asia-Pacific area. So that is useful for them to training scatter the whole world. We can training with this e-learning contents there are. So after that, the mobile learning and smart learning is a very popular concept. So smart learning, we call that smart technology with ICT. So smart S include social and self-directed and speed, and M is module and mobility. That kinds of various kinds of concept included in the smart learning. So smart learning meet the challenge like this: social learning and mobile learning, e-learning together. We made a smart learning. So always, anywhere, everything we can do that with the smart learning. So smart learning can meet the challenges with this 3 components: affordability with the low tuition fee, and second one is flexibility with various kinds of educational media, and also accessibility within campus in hand. Mobile is campus in hand, right? So this 3 is a very big element for the smart learning there. So let me brief history of ICT in open and distance learning. So when I have a job in 36 years ago in the KNOU, all the students submit their midterm and final report by the post mail. So send it to the professor, and we mark in red pencil and feedback to them and reply to student by the post mail delivery. But nowadays it's an online system we constructed. Everyone submit paper and the report. We marking on the score, and they confirm that. And also after that, the PC appeared here. I mentioned before these kinds of contents and e-learning contents. And also after that, internet appeared. It is very paradise to construct that kinds of educational contents production, I think. So that is a brief history in ICT. So why learning analytics nowadays is a hot issue in the educational field, especially open and distance learning field. So in my course, course complication rate is very low, because self-study, do not challenge for them to checking the absent or present, or so the basic statistics course year by year, but just 16% completion, and visualization with the R programming is lower than 10%, 9% only completion rate. So the reason why I try to deep learning analytics approach for our open and distance learning. So as you know, that the learning analytics is the measurement, collection, and analysis and reporting of data about learner for the understanding and optimizing learning and environment in the learning process. It was defined by the Siemens 2011 there. And the learning analytics, we can predict student potential, and we can identify effective instructional technique, and also we can analyze online and offline data, and also analyzing assessment data, and also we can testing and evaluation of curricula there. So it's the time we need the learning analytics for the better open and distance learning there. So data type for learning analytics is 2 kinds of data category: structured data and unstructured data. Unstructured data is audio and video and image. That is a typical characteristics of big data. So it is related to the big data analysis they are. So for the structured data analysis, we text mining or text word cloud, that kinds of approach we do that. And audio and video, we have several approach for the analysis. And also structured data is similar to the classical data analysis, descriptive statistics and data visualization, and with model fitting with the machine learning. Among the machine learning, I choose the deep learning. It's a hot issue these days. So it is AI plus neural network. So I try to deep learning at this, the machine learning method among this learning method. And predictive analysis too. So their data framework was the data come from administrative data and the teaching and learning data, and also the curriculum data, and also students and the research data together. It is ideal data for the learning analytics, not only for the student data only. The other data come from together and integrated all the data together there. And learning analytics research methodologies, there are many statistical modeling method. Among those, I focusing on the artificial intelligence and machine learning and information visualization. So this data analysis, a big data analytical model in higher education, we define like three: descriptive analysis, and after that the predictive analysis, after the prescriptive analysis. So we can get this kinds of various kinds of data output, and also the unstructured data visualization output and network output and word cloud like this. And also we have advanced visualization like a three-dimensional or the higher dimensional visualization output, we can get it. And also the during our process, learning process data come from the learning management system. It is a typical similar characteristics of a big data. So we can get a big data come from the three the source, you know, so three end users. So one is administrator, another one is a student, another one is lecturers. So detailed data come from each end user, and we can integrate all the data, and we can put the data analysis there. So the learning analytics help learners make the right choice. We can give an individualized guideline for them for their sustainability. So after that, they can change their life. And let me the learning analytics step by step. First step, we can have a traditional education, and second step, personalized education, and third step is learning analytics can help their sustainability. And the first step is a learning analytics cycle: students, data, analyze, and intervention. And also the fifth level is a full level of analytics. First step is the descriptive, and second one is a diagnostic, and third is predictive, and fourth is prescriptive. We can apply that kinds of step by step there. And also we define the teacher's role in the learning analytics, and also in the future, what is the good the direction, what is a good agenda for the next generation and next agenda there. So learning analytics cycle is like here: learners and data and metrics and intervention. So that is a kinds of a statistical viewpoint, right? But why the big data in education? I mentioned before, the data retrieved from the LMS system is a very similar characteristics of a big data. So we need a big data analysis in the field of education there, because the personal learning environment is changing. So many resources we can get the data for the personal learning environment change, and also we can get these kinds of various kinds of resources come from the mobile and Twitter, and there are many systems there are, and also extension of a mobile device like here. So the when the big data, the process, we can, the data warehousing era, we can have a different part, head part and low part, and separately. But after the integrated data analysis, we can get a more clear outline of the phenomena or outline of the characteristics. So we apply this kinds of process to the learning process data analysis. We can get a better learning performance. So for that kinds of learning analytics, we data mining approach, input data collection first, and after the define the covariate like this, x1 to xn, and response variable y is for example, drop out the course or the successful. We can discriminate or classify the kinds of output. We try to model fitting with this covariate. So we calculate the probability of the drop for newcomer learners. So we can give an alarm. Yesterday, the panel discussion, the same approach explained by the people, the scholar there. So, that kinds of data mining approach and data analytic and model fitting approach. One is a parametric approach. As you know, the linear regression or logistic regression or Cox model like there. And the algorithmic approach is a kind of a semi-parametric approach by the decision tree or neural network. We can forecast output Y. So it is, we apply to the deep learning there. So deep learning, as you know, that a kinds of a special of the machine learning. So it is combined with AI with the neural network. So deep learning, through the deep learning process, we can get a more detailed characteristics of the learner, and we can get a very critical point of a risky point, So we can give an alarm for the learner they are. So this kinds of the deep learning process, input and output there. Between two, there is many hidden layer assigned there. So we can classify the item or reconstruct a partial input. And the most important thing is detect anomalies. There is some sign of the learner's risky way. Is a kinds of dangerous and high probability of the dropout. We can give alarm. So we can detect with this deep learning model there. So deep learning process like here, first input data is only the very simple pixel, but we can get a regularity, and after that we can get a regularity related to the high-level concept, and after that we have a more intensive understanding of the hidden structure. So it is we can get an abstract concept from the data, and it is embedded in the data automatically. So you can understand once first step, the data input is a very simple pixel, but after the hidden layer and neural network analysis, we can get a very real one like this. There is an output there. So the reason why the deep learning is a hot issue these days. So deep learning recently applied many fields, and the recent win is, for example, deep speech recognition, and Microsoft research for this, there is a recognized it, differentiate the doggy or something animal and plant like that way. And also the Facebook's deep face is bottom line supported by the deep learning. And also we can do this kinds of the calculation process and this kinds of computing power with the cloud computing system. And we can do, and during that the deep learning process, we define the weight of the variable, the weight initialization and regularization, and that kinds of machine learning process, strong algorithm support for them. So when I was 60 years birthday, I attend the surfing class. It's the first surfing class there. So when we success for the surfing, we wait for the behind the wave coming, wait time, and pick up the right wave, and with have a right tool. So it is the same in our learning analytics process. We pick up the right modeling method for our learning process data. It is important for us. So let me the AI and machine learning and the deep learning have these kinds of a subset relationship. So deep learning, we take care of the artificial intelligence during their process of the learning. And after that, they can have a classification model by the machine learning method. And after that, forecasting the learners, the future diagnosis, prognosis process or something like that. So deep learning is like a characteristic here, and it was started in 1960. So the neural network is very popular in some season long ago, but there is a very much computing time. We didn't know the inside of the hidden box. So, but nowadays, after the 2010, there is a big data analysis together. It is a very hard issue for us. So deep learning application is many fields, you know, the banking and insurance and healthcare and automobile and government too. And for the education, by the learning analytics. And we can have a better learning performance, and we can understand the learner's learning process, and we facilitate the sustainability of the learner. So that is our goal and purpose, to use these kinds of learning, deep learning analytics for the learning process they are. So deep learning process display like here, we can input the simple data here, image or sound and all kinds of data. And between the input data, we can hidden layer inside there, and we can find the classification model, classification of, let me see, oops. Classification model, and final one is we can compare the model performance between the model, what is a better performance between the model, and according to the area under the ROC curve, we can compare the model performance. So there is an example of the echocardiogram, the process like here, you know. So there is a hidden layer. We can find the classification model and the very important covariate of classifier, and we can classify the learning process and learners. After that, what is a good way or the risky way, we can classify there. And like this, our data is combined together. But we use a deep learning model. We can classify the very clear subset, very clear cluster. So among that cluster, some cluster is a complete group, and the moderate group, or the risky and dropout group. So according to the characteristics of a subgroup, we can give some the personalized guideline for them to prevent their dropout, prevent their the stopping the class. So that is we can clearly understand there. And this is a ROC curve for the compare the what is a good model for the data, and we can compare. So why the deep learning is a larger data set? Typical big data is learning process data is a typical big data, and we have a better hardware, and we have a smarter algorithm. We can get a good performance. So according to the amount of data bigger and bigger, the deep learning performance is better and better. So the reason why we choose this kind of deep learning analysis, you know. So I skip this. This is a typical way to the between input data and output there. Between them, there is a hidden layer. We can find like this defined like equation there. So each covariate x1 to xn, we can collect the data, and we define the weight and linear combination of that weighted covariate. We can get some classification model, and it activates function and output. We forecast the output there. So that is an algorithm for these kinds of deep learning. So we can do that by the computer computation. Only we can get an idea, and we apply that deep learning process in our learning process they are. So we define that during that process, convolution, pooling, and rectified the linear unit with the machine learning method they are. So let me compare the machine learning and deep learning is a little some advantage, you know. So when we use the machine learning method, we first we extract the characteristics. After that, we fitting the classification model. But the deep learning model, we can end-to-end learning. You know, we just get the classification model there. So we use that deep learning is better, and some advantage of this relative to the machine learning method. So Google Trend Analysis in the educational field, educational data mining is a red line, and also the learning analytics is a blue line. So after 2011, the learning analytics is more higher and higher. So many paper and research output is published like more and more there. And as I mentioned before, the good hardware and big data, bigger and bigger volume data, we can choose the deep learning is better. So deep learning, in the mathematically, we can matrix define like here, we can find the parameter of the deep learning model there. So these kinds of output we can get it, and also the as before the graph between the covariate, between the element, we can get a hidden structure we can find by the deep learning approach. So during that knowledge and experience, AI learning process, and after that they can have creativity. That is a very hidden structure, we can get it. So after this kinds of approach, our university LMS system recently renovated. So I only a small sample of data, and the reason why the small number of data, so the performance is not so good. Other machine learning method is better. So anyway, I can get compare the how many students registered and how many students take an exam, how the credit distribution. We can compare the between college, between department like this, you know, between department, and all the courses list up here. All the data come from the LMS system there. And for my, sorry, in Korean language and the introductory statistics, we can compare the between department, between within our department and the whole the university average credit. We can compare all this. And also, I have a model fitting the machine learning method, but the accuracy is DNN is a deep learning neural network, but is the random forest method is better than this. So that is my headache. I hope deep learning is better performance, but the reason why the data volume is so small, not a big data. The reason why, like this, I can get the results there, and so also the classification tree, I can get it, and also the we can compare all this output there, and we can get a variable importance. What is the most important variable? So that is ongoing project. I want to share with you my approach during learning analytics. If I have more time, I introduce my recent finished two projects. So it is a mobile learning related one. First one is ESTAT project for the data analysis software for the elementary school to the university level. So it is a free version. You know, it was supported by the National Statistical Office in Korea. And also BITEC project is a bioinformatics training and education center that is supported for the Ministry of Welfare and Health for the medical doctor. Training bioinformatics. So this one is campus in hand, bioinformatics like this here, and we can have this, you know. So this is a screen there, the 3 buttons. The first one is a textbook in there. So they click this and more deeper and deeper, they have displayed like this textbook here. And second button is the lecture. For me, the bioinformatics, and like this, PPT with the slide, a video lecture there. And third one is a quiz. You know, so there is many kinds of courses, medical informatics, health big data, and that is produced by the very many professor in Korea, and health informatics there. It is a configuration of the LMS system in our university prime college there. So all the courses nested there, and we can streaming, and we can install the contents management system there, and we can use the learning process and learner management system we can handle with this LMS system there. And also we try to the BITEC MOOC in the future. It's almost finished, all the courses they are. And in our university, we start to kick off the mobile learning 2008 December. When I was director of the e-learning center, we construct the mobile learning hub site. We call the ubiquitous hub site there. So there was a start of the mobile learning. So nowadays, all the courses automatically transfer to the mobile contents. So every student have a class in the subway. Their office, on their way go to office, they have a class, you know. So campus in hand is very the real one, you know. So in our universities, that kinds of courses they are, graduate school online course and undergraduate course and continuous education standalone course and prime college for the senior people and mobile learning course and OER open education resources and also the international e-contents nested on the ubiquitous campus they are. So as you know, the mobile learning in the world, every year UNESCO hosts the Mobile Learning Week. I've been there 2 times, so it was very fruitful for me to develop the mobile contents in our university. But nowadays, all the session topic is AI. So every session is AI-related session they are. So our trend in mobile learning is AI-related trend, I think. So next project is for the little kids, data analysis, right? So it is first the page of the window, and before this, every student in the elementary school, they calculate by the pencil with the calculation. But nowadays, they input the data and click, they can have a graph, they can have summary statistics. So all elementary school curriculum changed like this, using this kinds of software. So it was also translated in 15 languages. During I stay here, I met one partner in Turkish translator. She would like to join in this translation, and free to the whole class, you know. So you can mobile, you can through the Chrome, you enter the estat.me, so you can see the window there, and you can have various kinds of data analysis according to the learner's level. Different menu displayed like here, so elementary school, middle school, and the university level. So you can use it freely. When we use the SPSS, you pay, or you have to go to the university laboratory. But at home, you can use it with mobile or PC. You can data analysis like here. So the special function is this software is a masking function. When you click the data, it's synchronized to the low data. So when you detect the outlier, you can click. Then what is the outlier? You can data cleaning easily. You can do it. And according to the scale, you can have a different bar chart or that kinds of a census pyramid. Every kids they can have, and compare the 2 group and various kinds of graph and GIS-based map graph. They can use it also. So we prepared the tutorial mobile ebook, like here, you know. So it is a universal level. So all kinds of distribution they can learn, and the non-parametric and regression, ANOVA, everything we can do with this software. So you can use it with the Chrome estat.me. estat.me, and this kinds of a binomial distribution, you know, it's all kinds of experiment. You know, according to the change of parameter, you can different distribution, how they make you can have an experience with this. So that is a two project added, So today's, I want to share my trial of the deep learning analytics for our open and distance learning process data. And also I would like to plug in the deep learning in the data analysis. And also I introduced the recent project ESTAT and BITEC together. So let's have a successful learning process analysis, and thank you for your attention. Do you have any question? Okay, it's time to, oops. Do you have any question? Any comment for me for the approach? I don't know. Oh, yes, the mic for him. There's a mic.
Thank you very much for your presentation. My name is Tursun Akaslan. I'm also working on LSTM. It is type of deep learning algorithm.
Yes.
But my problem is I can't find big data in open and distance education.
Yes.
Do you think in the future we can find very big, large set of data to use in deep learning algorithm?
You mean that there is a privacy protection, or how I can data retrieve from the learning LMS system there?
Normally we get the data from surveys and interviews. Normally our purpose is to classify the text into groups.
Yes.
But we have no enough large data for training and for validation and for also for testing.
So, recently we renovate our LMS system is automatically connect with the data retrieve from the LMS system. We can have a log file of the learning process data. So we can use it as a big data, it's a typical big data. So we apply the deep learning process. I have a programming of the R, the deep learning process, right? So we can get the connect with the data from the LMS system. We can do it. Okay. So the prototype, only the sampling and plug in the deep learning process model. Yeah. So I wonder that it is all kinds of some statistical viewpoint. So it is a little some data analysis and modeling, focusing on that. Okay. So if you want to use this software for the little kid or the university level, estat.me through the Chrome, you can meet there, and you can have very many examples. We review all the textbook in the elementary and middle school. So many examples there, and so many kinds of data that make a graph and summary and the testing and everything. You can do it there. Okay, and no question, and it's okay. Thank you.
It was a fantastic presentation. Thank you so much. My name is Nilgün Özdamar. I wonder that do you have any human-computer interaction laboratory, or you collect eye tracking data or biometric data for analyze your learning environments? I just wondering that you get biometric data for analyze usabilities research.
It is not only for the research. That is, we generalized, because all the students, as I mentioned before, that the dropout rate is very high. Only 16% have graduation within 4 years. So every course is drop out, the failure. So we prevent, we keep their sustainability, these kinds of supplement and support for them. You know, so we give a guideline for them to sustainability, continuing the course or something. So that is a strong motivation for us. So our university would like to formalize all the data, the process analyzed by this the algorithm, and give that kinds of tutor system, right? Online tutor system, huh? So we can give it. But only one thing, that the privacy. It's a privacy data, right? So we use the masking, the algorithm. We can hide the identification, right? So, I during last 10 years, I managed the e-ASEM, you know, Asia Europe. We have a meeting, network meeting through the e-learning. So among those members, Yamada Sensei in Japanese Open University and Anucha in Chulalongkorn University, we put together. We compare between the country comparison and something like that in the future, our project there. So first, nowadays, warming up and only the prototype analysis they are, okay? So no question and tenicula.
Değerli hocamıza sunumundan dolayı teşekkür ediyoruz. Kendilerine teşekkür plaketlerini takdim etmek istiyoruz. Plaket takdimi için Açıköğretim Fakültesi Dekanı Profesör Doktor Sayın Yücel Güney'i sahneye davet ediyorum.
Türkiye'de açık ve uzaktan öğrenme dinamikleri başlıklı panelimize hoş geldiniz. Bu panelimizde moderatörümüz Doçent Doktor Mehmet Fırat'tır. Panelistlerimiz ise Doçent Doktor Engin Kurşun, Doçent Doktor Nilgün Özdamar ve Doçent Doktor Recep Okur'dur.
Çok değerli konuklarımız, tekrardan hoş geldiniz. İkinci günün son etkinliği olarak panelimizi düzenliyoruz. Türkiye'de açık ve uzaktan öğrenme dinamikleri. Aslında bu başlığı seçerken de biz hocalarımızla konuştuk. Biliyorsunuz doçentlik alanı yeni açıldı. 2017'de itibaren doçentlerimiz çıkmaya başladı açık ve uzaktan öğrenmede. Bir anlamda tarihi bir şey diyebiliriz çünkü tümü açık ve uzaktan öğrenmede doçent olan, aslında ilk doçentler olan insanlar bir arada bir panel vermiş oluyor. Umut ederim güzel, interaktif, iyi bir panel olur. Ben izninizle sunuma başlamak isterim. İlkin ben bir sunum yapacağım. Zaten panelistlerimizin tanıtımını yaptı arkadaşımız. Şimdi konu dinamikler olunca çok farklı boyutlardan bahsetmek mümkün. Ben ilk önce bir detayları, bir farklı yaklaşımları gösterip benim odaklanmak istediğim noktaları ele alacağım. Ondan sonra diğer panelistlerimiz zaten kendi konularıyla ilgili kritik noktaları vurgulayacaklar. İlk önce ben şununla başlamak istiyorum. Neden açık ve uzaktan öğrenme? Eğer bu soruya cevap bulabilirsek, yani işin sıfır noktası, çıkış noktasını bilebilirsek, buna yönelik yapacağımız her türlü etkinlik, faaliyet, üretim ya da bilimsel araştırma anlamlı olacaktır, anlamlı kazanacaktır. O yüzden ilk önce bu soruya cevap bulmakta yarar var. Açık ve uzaktan öğrenmenin dinamikleri çok sayıda, başlangıçta da söylediğim gibi. Bunlar nelerdir? Yeni meslekler ve iş kolları. Dünyada olduğu gibi Türkiye'de de yeni meslekler ve iş kolları ortaya çıkıyor ve bizler bu yeni mesleklere adaptasyonu sağlayabilmek için hızlı, esnek, yerden, zamandan bağımsız olarak açık ve uzaktan öğrenme yoluyla eğitim alıp bu yeni mesleklere entegre olmak istiyoruz. Düşük eğitim maliyeti var çünkü mekan değiştirmiyorsunuz. Uzaktan eğitim yoluyla, açık ve uzaktan öğrenme yoluyla öğreniminizi alıyorsunuz. Erişilebilirlik söz konusu, akıllı telefonlarınızdan, işte TV'den, bilgisayardan, internetten, her şeyden yararlanabiliyorsunuz. Kişiselleştirilmiş bir ortam söz konusu olabiliyor. Sizin girdiğiniz sınıfta Kişiselleştirme bir noktaya kadar gidebilir ama açık ve uzaktan öğrenmede bunu yapmak daha kolay. Zaten daha önceki sunumlarda da görmüşsünüzdür. Makine öğrenmesi, personalized learning environments, yani kişiselleştirilmiş öğrenme ortamları, yapay zeka teknolojileri, semantik web teknolojileri gibi, learning analitik gibi konular bizim kişiselleştirilmiş öğrenme ortamları yoluyla öğrenmemizi sağlıyor. Hizmet içi eğitime duyulan ihtiyaç artık her kurumda kişinin kendi işinden, yerinden, çalıştığı ofisten ayrılmadan eğitim almalarını sağlayacak bir eğitim modeli arayışı söz konusu. Ve biz bunu bizzat Üniversitesi Açıköğretim sistemi olarak her yıl, her dönem deneyimliyoruz. Çünkü kurumlarla yaptığımız toplantılarda, kurduğumuz iletişimlerde bu tür talepleri sürekli alıyoruz. Lisansüstü eğitim talepleri yoğunlaşmaya başladı. Çünkü belli bir dönem lisans ve ön lisansa nasıl ki talep olduysa aynı şekilde yeni dönemde lisansüstü eğitime de uzaktan eğitim yolunda talep var. Yani nasıl ki insanlar açık ve uzaktan öğrenme yoluyla lisans ve ön lisans yapmak istedilerse şimdi yeni dönemde artık bu bir doygunluğa ulaştı. Birinci, ikinci diploma, ikinci üniversite öğrenci sayıları zaten ona gideceğiz. Artık lisansüstü eğitimi de uzaktan eğitim yoluyla almak istiyorlar. Çünkü bu insanlar çalışan insanlar. Başka coğrafi ve ekonomik problemler devam ediyor. Bunları da göz ardı edemeyiz. Eğer kitlesel eğitim yapıyorsanız, bütün bir ülkeyi hedef alıyorsanız, yani öğrencileriniz ülkenin her yerindense, bununla da yetinmeyip dünyanın 4 farklı kıtasında 40'ın üzerinde ülkede öğrenciniz varsa, Üniversitesi Açıköğretim sistemi gibi, sizin bütün coğrafi ve ekonomik engelleri de göz önünde bulundurarak bir eğitim sistemi modellemeniz gerekir. Bu da bir dinamik. Uluslararasılaşma söz konusu eğitimde, yabancı dil öğrenme talepleri yoğunlaşmakta, bu da yeni bir dinamik. Dijitalleşme zaten şu an üniversitelerin üzerinde yoğunlukla durduğu bir nokta. Yaşam boyu öğrenme ihtiyacı her geçen gün artıyor ve ben bunu sayılarla vermeye çalışacağım bugün. Eğitimde fırsat eşitliği talebi söz konusu. Disiplin arası meslekler ve iş kolları söz konusu. Yani ben bir alanda uzmanlaştım, mühendis oldum ama kendi şirketimi kurmak için işletme okumam lazım. İşletme eğitimi almam lazım. Benim ikinci bir eğitim almak durumundayım. Dolayısıyla disiplin arası bir eğitim ihtiyacı söz konusu. Öğrenme ihtiyaçları çeşitlendi. Ben sadece kendi alanımla ilgili bir şey öğrenmek istemiyorum. Başka alanlarla ilgili bir şeyler öğrenmek istiyorum. Bu artık günlük hayatımızın, günlük iş hayatımızın da, yani sadece gündelik hayatımızın değil, günlük iş hayatımızın da ihtiyaçlarından biri haline geldi. Hangi meslekte çalışırsanız çalışın, dijital teknoloji öğrenme ihtiyacınız devam ediyor. Photoshop öğrenmek istiyorsunuz, işte ofis yazılımlarını kullanmak istiyorsunuz, sosyal medya etkin kullanmak istiyorsunuz, bazı servisleri, yönetim servislerini iyi kullanmak istiyorsunuz. Bizde örneğin ETS diye bir sistem var, elektronik takip sistemi gibi. Bütün kurumlarda bu tür kontrol mekanizmaları var artık. Yeni becerilere ihtiyacınız var. İşiniz değişmese bile yeni becerilere ihtiyacınız var. Ben bütün bu dinamiklerin içinde 3 temel dinamiğe odaklanmak istiyorum. Açıklığın yükselişi, açıklığın yükselişi, öğrenmeyi öğrenme ve yaşam boyu öğrenme. Bu 3 temel dinamik bizim Türkiye'de açık ve uzaktan öğrenmeye olan bakış açımızı yeniden yapılandıracak, şekillendirecek 3 temel kavram. Öncelikle açıklık felsefesiyle ilgili bir iki tane cümle söyleyip geçeceğim çok fazla zaman almadan. Açık bilim, açık kaynak, açık erişim, açık veri, açık toplum, açık öğrenme gibi çok fazla kavramla karşılaşmaya başladık. Ve Yükseköğretim Kurulumuz da açık bilimle ilgili bütün üniversitelere bildirimlerde bulunup bu tür çalışmaların yoğunlaşması gerektiğini söylüyor. ORT-IB gibi işte akademisyenlerin yayınlarını açık hale getirmesi gibi talepler söz konusu. Peki, bütün bu açıklık kavramlarının merkezinde yer alan şey nedir? Benim anlayışım, benim gördüğüm açık bilim kavramı. Eğer biz açık bilime inanırsak o zaman açıklık kavramını tam anlamıyla öğrenmiş ya da anlamlandırmış oluruz. Bilimin topluma ve gündelik hayatta daha yakın olmasını hedefler, araştırma süreci ve yayınlarının herkese açık, erişilebilir olması gerektiğini savunur. Yani toplum için bilim. Science for Society. diye bir kavram. Ve burada da German Ulyes Bula'nın güzel bir ifadesi var. Toplumun başlıca sorunları yaptığımız şeyleri daha iyi veya daha fazla yaparak değil, yaptığımız şeylerin kendisini değiştirerek düzeltebileceğimiz ikinci derece eksikliklerdir. Tam da bugünümüzden bahsediyor. Biz eski dille, eski kıyafetlerle, yeni kavramlarla başa çıkmaya çalışıyoruz. Yeni bir dönemdeysek düşünce yapımızda yenilikçi ve yeni döneme uygun olmalı. Açıklığın yükselişinden bahsederken neyi